Rivalries aren't built on trash talk or bad blood, they're built on history. And that's exactly what made Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira so intense. What if your greatest rival already had 2 wins over you before the world was even watching? For Israel Adesanya, the fight against Alex Pereira didn't start in the octagon. It started years earlier. Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira started way before the UFC, in kickboxing. Pereira beat Adesanya twice there, once by decision and once by knockout. When both moved to MMA, their rivalry followed. Their big UFC moment came at UFC 281 in 2022. Pereira shocked everyone by knocking out Adesanya to take the middleweight title. Adesanya was winning on points, but Pereira's power changed everything in the 5th round. But the story didn't end there. In 2023, at UFC 287, Adesanya got his revenge with a knockout win in the 2nd round, taking back his title. He said, "I don't keep score, I settle them," showing just how much that fight meant. What makes their rivalry so interesting is their different styles. Pereira is all about power and heavy hits, while Adesanya uses speed, skill, and precision. Their fights were a clash of strength versus technique, making each match exciting. Since then, both fighters have moved on. Adesanya lost his title and is taking a break from MMA, while Pereira moved up a weight class and became light heavyweight champion. Despite all the heat in the cage, they've shown respect for each other and even appeared together at UFC events, proving fierce rivals can still be friends. Adesanya and Pereira showed that even fierce rivals can end up respecting each other, but not every story ends like that. Some rivalries burn so hot, they leave a scar on the sport, and nothing burned brighter or uglier than Khabib versus Conor. This wasn't just a rivalry, it was all-out war. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor took things to a level the UFC had never seen before, with real hate, violence, and no line they wouldn't cross. It all blew up in 2018, when McGregor attacked the bus Khabib was riding on, injuring some fighters and turning heads worldwide. That incident set the stage for UFC 229, the most talked-about fight in the sport. McGregor took trash talk to a whole new level, insulting Khabib's religion, family, and country, which made things even more intense. Khabib stayed calm for months, refusing to respond, but when fight night came, all that tension exploded. In the cage, Khabib dominated McGregor, eventually forcing him to tap out with a neck crank submission in the 4th round. But the drama didn't stop there. After winning, Khabib jumped over the cage and charged at McGregor's team, sparking a massive post-fight brawl that grabbed headlines around the world. It was a clash of cultures, personalities, and pride. It showed how MMA isn't just about skill, it's about respect, honor, and sometimes heated emotions that reach far beyond the octagon. When Khabib jumped over the cage, it was a moment of pure chaos, the clash of pride and cultures. But rivalries don't always explode physically. Sometimes, the fiercest battles happen on the microphone, and no one did it better than Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. What if the most dangerous weapon in a rivalry isn't your fists, but your words? That was the battleground for these two fighters. Their rivalry became one of the most intense in UFC history, fueled by Sonnen's non-stop trash talk. He didn't just question Silva's skills, he attacked his country and family, adding a deeply personal edge to their fight. This build-up created massive excitement for their first bout at UFC 117 in 2010. During the fight, Sonnen controlled much of the action, using his wrestling to keep Silva on the ground and dominating the rounds. It looked like Sonnen was headed for a clear victory, but Silva showed his legendary fight IQ and patience. In the final round, Silva pulled off a stunning comeback, locking Sonnen in a triangle armbar submission, forcing him to tap out and defending his middleweight title in dramatic fashion. Their rivalry didn't end there. They met again at UFC 148 in 2012 for a rematch. This time, Silva wasted no time and took control from the start. He overwhelmed Sonnen and won by TKO in the 2nd round, proving his dominance once again. This rivalry perfectly showcased the classic battle between a striker and a wrestler, highlighting Silva's skill, resilience, and ability to perform under pressure. It remains one of the most memorable and talked about feuds in UFC history. That rivalry was a war of words and wills. But the UFC's early days were shaped by another kind of rivalry: raw, brutal, and unforgettable. Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz was a battle that helped define the light heavyweight division and the sport itself. Some rivalries don't just change divisions, they change the entire sport. Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz weren't just fighting for belts, they were fighting for legacy. These two didn't just fight for titles, Their rivalry was fueled by real personal beef and a fierce competition for the light heavyweight championship. Their first clash at UFC 47 in 2004 shocked fans when Liddell knocked Ortiz out, showing he was a force to be reckoned with. The tension between them only grew. 2 years later, at UFC 66 in 2006, they met again. This time, Liddell secured a TKO victory, proving he wasn't just lucky the first time. Their fights were brutal, high-energy battles that showcased the classic striker versus wrestler matchup, captivating the growing MMA audience. Their rivalry helped bring mainstream attention to the sport when UFC was still finding its footing. Fast forward to 2018, the rivalry reignited with a third fight, promoted by Golden Boy MMA. Even after years apart, Liddell once again came out on top with a knockout, finally putting an end to their long-standing feud. This is hands down the most explosive rivalry in UFC history. It all kicked off in 2010 when Jon Jones joked that he could take down Daniel Cormier. Not smart, considering Cormier was an Olympic wrestler. That one comment sparked years of pure hatred. The two first clashed at UFC 182 in 2015. The build-up was fiery, full of trash talk, and even a real fight at a press event. Inside the cage, Jones came out on top with a clear decision win. But the drama didn't stop there. Jones ran into legal trouble and got suspended, so Cormier stepped up and became champ. Fans knew it was only a matter of time before they met again. At UFC 214 in 2017, Jones knocked out Cormier in a brutal finish, but then it was revealed he tested positive for a banned substance, and the win was overturned. Their rivalry went way beyond the octagon. There was real hate between them, with insults flying in every interview. But one thing's for sure, when they fought, it was magic. Two of the best in the light heavyweight division, going all out, with the whole world watching. No rivalry felt more real than this one.